welcome back to video 3 on DIY Cloud Server done by Firestarter Graphics and Engineering. First and foremost, I'd like to give a shout out to renderforce.com for that awesome intro. Go over there. It's free. It's 3 simple steps to create a cool intro like that. And you can do paid versions, which is higher quality, and they get rid of the little watermark. But I like that watermark. Because if I believe in a product, I want to share it with people. I do not work for them, but you know what? I think they deserve the attention. They deserve the credit. So, mosey on over there and get yourself an awesome video intro. Okay, so what are we going to do in video 3? We're going to configure our router to accept a wide area connection from anywhere out in the world. We're going to punch a hole in the firewall so that we can connect to our server. Yes, this does allow it for others who have your public IP address to try and connect, but that's why we're using the Diffie-Hellman security keys so that they can't access your SSH server. They'll be able to make a connection, yeah, they'll knock on the door, whatever port number 8022, door will open and the gatekeeper will be like, "Who are you?" "Oh, I'm so-and-so." "Username?" "Huh. Okay, that's the correct username. Do you have the key to this?" "Oh, I have to have a key?" "Nope. Okay, goodbye." Whatever, So, it's actually really kind of cool. Anyway, so I've had a lot of people ask me, can you connect to this server from a cell phone or a tablet? And the answer is absolutely you can. So, I'm going to show you this. Ooh, let's get internet going. Come on. Alright. If you search for ftp, I talked about this briefly at the end of video part 2. At the end of video part 2. Yeah, I said it right. Okay. So, you're going to install it. I don't know if they have an iOS version. I know for a fact they have Android because that's what I use. So, let's find a good picture. Here's one. So host name, this is where you're going to put your public IP address. Notice his is not numbers. You can actually go to GoDaddy or you can find a free service. There are free services out there that will connect your public IP to an actual domain name. But notice how long this is. It's easier to type in a public IP, and especially when you can save it. Remember, the type is sftp, not FTP. The port, right now, for this video I set it up to be 8022, but default for SFTP is 22. Username, put in your username. If you're using a password method, use a very strong password. But we're going to be using keys. And yes, if you click on advanced, you can use a key. And I'll show you how to do that. How you do it for one client, like Bitvise, you do it exactly in FTP. It's the same process for 99% of all clients to add a key. Okay, so let's move forward. First, we need to configure our home router to accept connections for our SSH server. So, back in video 2, I showed you to write down this number, just the dotted quad, that one for your default gateway. What you're going to do is you can go in a web browser and you're going to type in that number. And what's going to happen is it's going to take you, see I typed it in, and it's going to take you to a web page and it's going to say whatever your provider is, and you're going to type in your username and password and log in. Now, I don't know what router you're using, but you're going to have to find something called port forwarding. On this particular router, it's under advanced, and then you click on port forwarding. Make sure it's enabled. Okay, we're going to hit add service, and it's going to take a minute to load. Okay, common service. You can pick from all of these SSH, it's on there. But the problem is it forces it to use port 22, and we need our own port. So I'm going to switch to other. Service type is TCP UDP. Service name, call it what you want. I just called it SSH server. And this right here is the private IP address of the server. It is the IPv4, the 10.0.0.13 on mine. That's what's going in here. For you, it would be a different number. Okay, start port 8022, end port 8022, and you're going to hit save. I'm going to hit cancel because I already have one set up. As you can see, this is a server, TCP UDP, port 8022, 8022, the server IP address. So now it's listening on this port. So if I'm out in the world and I send an envelope through some mess, so you send a data packet out from the client. It goes through the wire, comes down to my firewall, and the gatekeeper, it knocks on the door of my router, and the firewall gatekeeper opens up and says, who are you? Oh, hey, I'm just trying to connect to port 22. It says, well, let me see if you're allowed. It goes through its list, its access control list, and says, hey, allow any on door number 8022. It says, come on in. So you come on in, and it tells you need to go to building 10.0.0.67. So you get directed that way. So you reach the building, and now you're like, okay, what door number was I? Oh yeah, 8022, that's where I'm going. So you go to 8022, you knock, you establish a three-way handshake, and then the server says, what's your username, and what's your secret number? And then you give it your username, and then you do that algorithmic cool exchange, and then you're communicating and you're connected. Yeah, it was kind of a long-winded example of how it works, but pretty cool. Okay, so now everything in your router is configured. Make sure it's saved. I'm going to go ahead and click that out. Okay, so let's test connectivity. Remember, in the last video I said, go to whatismyip.com and write this down and call it your private IP, your public IP address. Your public. Okay? Then, so now you have that. What you're going to do is you're going to open up Bitvise client. Ooh, I'm still logged in. Okay. And now, that profile that you made in video 2, where the host was your the private number, you're actually going to put in your public IP. Okay? So, for intensive purposes, I'm not going to put in my public IP. I don't want to. I'm going to try the loop back, but pretend this is my public IP address. Okay, so I'm going to hit, you're going to put in your public IP. This stays the same. This stays the same. You're going to hit login. Okay, it's going to ask for this password. Oh man, let's see, did I remember right? And bada bing, bada boom, you're on. So, connectivity on the wide area network is now working. If you run into any problems, make sure your internet is turned on both sides. If you run into any crazy issues, I'll show you one thing that you can do for the beginners out there. Type in CMD. Let's open up this again. You're going to type in ping. And two things you're going to ping: your public IP address and your private IP address. So, of the server. Okay. Alright. Shows that I'm getting replies back. Try pinging the router. Okay. I'm getting replies back. Now try pinging the public IP address. You should see pings back. If that's working, then maybe you messed up on the password or the actual input of the number. Make sure this number is correct. Make sure that's correct. Make sure that's correct. Also make sure that it says service is running on the actual server. Remember how to get to the server. It's this little one right here. Make sure it says it's running. Okay. Now that you've checked all that and you're connected, and also make sure in your router that everything's correct, that the port number is correct, and that the IPv4 address is the private IP, not the public IP. Okay. So I have 2 sessions. Okay, I need to log out of these. I'm going to try to... Let's restore. Okay, session. I'm going to disconnect that session. Okay. No. Why are you doing this to me? Sometimes Bitvise will automatically log back in with an auto login. Let's see if it tries it. Yep. So that can be frustrating. So let's go ahead and change that. Okay. Options. Automatically reconnect. Never reconnect automatically. That's underneath options. So disconnect. Are you kidding me? Connection from logged in his virtual account using password authentication. I just totally... What in the world? Never reconnect automatically. Okay, I'll deal with this later. But that's one thing you should change right off the bat. So, you know what? How about this? There we go. I'll just stop the server. Yeah. Sometimes it can be a little finicky. Okay, good. Perfect. Okay. So now that you have connectivity over the wide area network, let's discuss creating the public keys now. This part is really simple. Okay, you're going to open up that little thing called PuttyGen that I had you download way at the beginning. If you don't have it, go to Google and type in PuttyGen and download it. Okay. So, what we're going to do is you're going to double click it, open it. Generate a new public-private key pair. Hit generate. It says please generate some randomness by moving the mouse over the blank area. Okay, great. Awesome. Okay, perfect. Key comment. We're just going to call this SSH server at home. Okay. Key phrase. This is another password. Make this a good password that you'll always remember. This is kind of like a two-step authentication. You're going to have a key, and then it's going to ask you for the key phrase to your key. So I'm just going to pick, for right now, I would never, ever do this. Actually, you know what? I'm going to make a complicated password. There we go. I was going to use 1, 2, 3, 4, but that's bad practice, and I don't want to teach you guys that. Okay, let's see. That is everything. Okay, type of key to generate is RSA 2048, and you're just going to hit save the public key and save the private key. So what is the difference between the two? The public key stays on the server. The private key goes on the machine trying to connect to the server. So either on your phone, tablet, or your laptop that you're traveling with. So for you, now the reason why I put a key phrase, something is missing on this one. Time to redo these ones. Okay, let's just redo that one. Okay, so the reason why I do a key phrase is because I have you save the private key on the USB thumb drive with your Bitvise client or your WinSCP client. And that's because when you go to a public computer, you need to be able to connect. You have that, but if you lose that thumb drive, people could connect to your server. But if you have a key phrase on it and they don't know it, they're not going to be able to connect. So that's why I have that second level of security. And please, whatever is good on this green earth, do not write a text file on the USB drive that says key passphrase. That defeats the whole purpose. So anyways, you're going to hit save public key. Okay, see, I already have mine saved right here. Public key. and then you're going to hit save private key, and you're going to save it here too. I just keep them in one spot. Perfect. Okay. So now that we have those saved, you're going to throw it on a USB drive, and now we're going to open up Bitvise. Okay. Initial method is set to a public key. Okay. Okay, so we switch this to public key. Client key. We're going to click that. Okay. And I already have an old one in there, but we're going to go ahead and I want to get rid of that. How do I get rid of that? Okay, let's go get rid of that one. We need to go to our server, go to Open Easy Settings, go to Virtual Accounts. It says I have 0 keys. Alright, first let's add the key to this one. Let's go to Edit. And we're going to go to Public Keys. And we're going to hit Import. Okay, go to where you saved it. Go to here and go to All Files. And grab that one, or whatever you named it. And it's been imported. So we're good. Oh, okay, don't need to click it again. Hit Close. So that one has 1 key. Login allowed. It still has a password, but we're going to disable that password. So I'm going to hit OK. And do I disable password in this one, or is it somewhere else? Okay. Alright, so okay, it says that we have 1 public key imported. So we're going to go ahead and hit Save Changes. We're going to hit Edit Advanced Settings. Okay, once Edit Advanced Settings is up, click this one. It says Access Control. Password Authentication Method. Disabled globally. The keyboard interactive. That's if you're using a cell phone and it pops up that keyboard, or a tablet. You know how it brings up your little virtual keyboard. But we're going to use keys. So disabled globally for that. Hit OK. Alright. Now you could try to log into your server, but it's not going to let you because we just disabled the password. So what we're going to need to do now, I'm going to go ahead and minimize the server. Going back into here, go into client key, and we're going to, it's not where you go. You need to go to Client Key Manager. Sorry. I'm going to click Remove. Okay, now I'm going to import. Okay, and I'm going to call it, you can either click Putty or All Files, and then it's the test private key. And you're going to hit Open. Asks for the passphrase. See, that's nice. And hit Continue. And it says it's good, it likes it, so it's going to be called Global 1. Hit Import, and look, everything's imported. Okay, we're good. Now if we go back to here, client key, notice how it says Global 1, and if you hover over it, it says Test. That means everything has gone through. So let's just, for the heck of it, test connectivity. I'm going to hit Login. It's connecting. No connection could be made because the target machine actively refused it. Fantastic. Why did it refuse it? Oh. Duh. If you ever get actively refused it, most likely it's because your server is not turned on. I love when these errors happen so you guys can see the troubleshooting behind this. Okay. Alright, let's hit login now. Okay, look. Okay, method, public key, global, passphrase. Okay, logged in. Oh. Okay. It is now accepted at using a public key. Down here you can see it. And let's just double check to make sure that things go over. and they do. So we have now connected over the internet into our own server with a public key with like really good security, 2 forms of it, the public key and the passphrase. And I don't know why this is doing this. No. I don't want you to. I have a connection sitting in the background trying to reconnect. So, anyway, and we've tested connectivity. It works, it logs in, and we can transfer files. So that's actually really cool. So what I'm going to do, actually, I'm going to nah, I'm good. So what you could do is switch directory and then try to bring this over and see if it downloads. But if it uploads, most likely it's going to download. So that is, I think that is it for this series. Well, not series, for this video. Okay. So recap. Client key manager. That is where you put in your private key, not client key here. This just displays it. I don't know why that was so hard for me. Okay. We talked about router configuration for the firewall. And everything should be working right now. So, if you have issues with BitVise running on the portable side, go to here and go to WinSCP Portable. I prefer BitVise over this one, but if you go to All Downloads for WinSCP, you can download the portable executable, which means you don't even install it, you just double click the file on your thumb drive and it will open it up. But I prefer BitVise. One reason why is this right here where it says local files and remote files. WinSCP doesn't have that. And I'm a pretty easygoing guy. I just like to know which side's what. I could memorize that this is local and this is remote, but I like reading it. It's nice. Anyway, okay. Well, awesome. So far, so good. Okay, the next video we'll be talking about sftpnetdrive and how to configure that. So, good luck with all of this. At least get this up and going so that you can use it on your cell phone, your tablet, and your laptop, wherever you go. And have your portable thumb drive with you if you're not going to take your laptop. See, I just installed BitVise to my laptop, so I take it to school and I can log in. But if I'm going to use a school computer, I don't take my laptop. I take my little thumb drive, slide it in, run BitVise, and I can connect. So it's really nice. Alright, well, thank you for watching this one, and I will see you on part 4.